the taking care of children is part of a greater program of spiritual culture, and it's very timely because out there's no more culture anymore. Quickly, we joined in a time where the hippies were going on, the hippie movement. Hippie movement is a movement of regular people who had nice parents, but they rejected everything. So they knew about marriage, but they rejected marriage. So they're better off than the people today because people today, the marriage culture is not a supported thing in society anymore, getting less and less. So people don't know what marriage is. And the hippies are superior to them because they knew what marriage is, so they could reject marriage. And people today, they don't know marriage, so they can't reject it or accept it. They just go by it like it doesn't exist. So they need to hear what marriage. Now today, people need to hear about what marriage is. Like the hippies, they rejected marriage, then they reaccepted marriage later on at a later age. When the hippie fad was over, they again accepted the the marriage because they knew about it. It's like somebody who joined Krishna consciousness and rejects it is better than a person who never knew anything about Krishna consciousness. So spiritual culture means introducing people that never heard any conception of marriage or taking care of children properly or even don't even know how to identify their sexuality properly anymore. They don't know if they're a man or they don't know if they're a woman or for how long they're going to be like this. I'm going to have a change, and how many partners they have one after another, and they carry children from different fathers with them. So there's not much compassion for the children and care. There's so many problems, and our movement is supposed to help everybody receive this knowledge and progress in life properly. So it's very timely what Mataji is doing. She's actually very learned in the subject matter, and it's very much needed that this kind of knowledge is spread. So anyway, coming to the children, um, so we have 5 children, 2 from Vaikuntha, 1 from Goloka Vrindavan, one from New York City. Came on a bicycle, bicycle ride, motorbike. Well, the bottom line is that not everybody is going to have a Vaikuntha child. And maybe you didn't do any samskar because you joined later and you have a child already. Or maybe whatever reason. But like Lokanath Maharaj was saying, the best samskar is chanting of the holy name. So of course, we can give up everything and just chant Hare Krishna. And everything is going to be corrected and all that. But that's more difficult than if we have a supporting culture for our chanting. We have, oh, there my Vaikuntha children are there. They came back at the right time. So so if there's a culture supporting our chanting, then we'll be assisted, you know. We'll be assisted in our chanting. It'll be more easy for us to absorb ourselves in spiritual life if there's some support. So to give you a more practical example, what I mean is that I live in a place called Sharanagati in Canada. I don't know if you heard about that place. It's a big farm community, 2,000 acres, and it's been there for since 1980. And we moved there in 1992. So we've been in ISKCON, before 1992, we've been in ISKCON for 19, 20 years. And we had a family of 3 kids. But it was very chaotic to live in ISKCON and raise a family. It was very difficult because it was in the days where there's a lot of turmoil with the Elevanacharya system falling apart. And then the society was very new and very, very young. And then for a Grihastha to live peacefully was impossible also. If you have children and you would serve in a temple as an exchange for receiving some benefit to raise your family, it was a very precarious situation, a lot of insecurity. And we were Gurukul teacher and my wife, so we moved from Lake Huntington, New York, Gurukul, to Philadelphia. The school moved from Lake Huntington, New York, to Philadelphia, to Gitanagari, and finally moved again to Florida because everywhere we went, things were falling apart. And we ended up in Florida with nothing materially. So we are like, wow, what can we do now? Like we have to do something. Like it's not a question of spiritual life anymore. It's just like just regular life, and we have to survive. We have to do something. So we changed our attitude, and we decided to keep the money we're making for ourselves and build a house, bought some land, build a house in this community, and move there. As soon as we moved there, and we had our own house paid for, and we had neighbors who were all devotees, and then gradually a school came about, and then gradually a temple came about, all with the effort of the Griyasa himself. There was no sannyasis involved, and no GBCs involved, except when we bought the property, it was initiated by a GBC. But then we took over. So it's like a corporation separate from ISKCON. But still, we were actually becoming more peaceful with that arrangement because now it depended only on us. We had our land, we had our house. We're not depending on some municipal managerial personality that may be there one day, may not be there the next day, or some turmoil would happen, and then all of a sudden you're left with nothing. So now this arrangement is better. It's like not a rebellion against ISKCON, but it's more like an expansion or a service to ISKCON to produce a situation where their family is taken care of, the children are taken care of more better in a better way, and then it's extended families and more room to grow and more different type of activities being performed beside Harinam and book distribution and being in an emergency situation every day in a temple wherever you are in the world. There's always an emergency situation. Temple needs money. Temple, we need to distribute book. Okay, Prabhu, go on a marathon now. Well, we just had a marathon. Well, no, well, we need another one, like you cannot live on a marathon spirit for like all the time. So you need to live your own life also. So Griyasta needs to need his own life. He needs independence. He needs autonomy. He needs a place to think properly, to take care of his family properly. He needs to bring the money in on his own. He needs to provide what the children and the lady needs and the man needs, a place to stay and some security. And then he can also choose his association. Not like this the association of devotees is shoved down his throat and there's nothing he can do about it. No, you choose your own association, who you want to associate with. It's not like, you're forced to accept, the person that's up there because he's up there. No, you can, now that you have your house, you're independent and you have your place to live, then you can choose who you want to associate with. You can choose. So it's a bit bigger freedom. And nobody can really touch what you got in the name of spiritual life or making it better because you're not doing good enough or whatever it is. So in this way, I found out between the two of them, living in ISKCON and living in a way, an expansion of ISKCON, meant to assist ISKCON in its pioneering stages. The second part was better for raising a family, to have a life in the countryside, some room to have the children have some freedom, and they take on spiritual life automatically, even if there's some scar, we're not all there, or maybe they're not they may not be the kids who are not never on the internet, or like pure devotees and then like prima donnas from the Goloka Vrindavan, whatever. If not that, if they're not like that, they're not like that. What are you going to do? Like look down on them, or are you going to like consider yourself inferior to everybody else who did that? Or what is it going to be like? What kind of attitude you're going to have? Well, the attitude is you're doing this for a service. Wherever they are whatever they are, and you're supposed to help them. Whether they're good, they're bad, they're in the middle, or up there. And then you also yourself, you may be in different levels of Krishna consciousness. Still, Krishna consciousness must go on. It doesn't go on only for the perfect people, the top sannyasis and the leaders and the perfect soul or whatever. It goes for everybody that's not there yet. So Varnashram is for everyone, not just for the elite. It's for everybody. That everybody is everybody's participating, everybody's contributing, and everybody is living their life. That's what Krishna wants, as far as I'm concerned. So, well, I already spoke a little too much, so I think my wife wants to speak a little bit. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. I wasn't supposed to talk, but I will make an effort. I prayed the whole evening for Krishna to help me to give me some feedback of myself or say what I want to say. I do have, growing some beautiful Vaikuntha children need two people, the father and the mother, is very important. So we've been marrying for 40 years. And it is an ISKCON pioneer way, as Prabhupada disciple here knows what it means. You know, we get association, choosing by the President Temple, or you're a Sankirtan devotees, Mataji, and then Prabhu, Sankirtan devotee, are also want to get married. So maybe, let's try 6 months and same devotional service. So Sankirtan, you'll be okay like that way. So we've been marrying that way. I must say that if for my own musician, being married for 40 years, I don't say it was easy all the time, no. But for myself, my own self-musician is, what was very important for me is that is three principles for me was important. Is that my first goal when I joined the movement is I wanted to go back home, back to Godhead. This is my priority of everything. This is my goal when I joined the movement. I get initiation from Srila Prabhupada. And of course, as a principle in the ISKCON, that Mataji has to be protected from a husband devotees, and that was for me wonderful. That was a desire to wanted to raise some Krishna consciousness children. So that it was Krishna give me a wonderful husband, and then of course I did pray Krishna to give me a very good devotee. So I thank Krishna for that. And when we arrive in the fire sacrifice, when it's time to do your vow, your second vow, which the first was to your guru, now my second vow was to my second guru, which is my husband, then you promise to Krishna that you will stick together for all your grihastha life, all your life, basically. So it means it to me that if Krishna give me this man, this devotee to me, it's because I need that person to go through my karma. I have karma to go through, I have purification to go through, and this person will help me in that regard. So it is very important for me in all my marriage, back again to recall myself the importance to stick with what Krishna provide me for my spiritual advancement. And well, of course, we have children. We have 5 children, and I have 9 grandchildren, third generation. Very, very happy about that. They are living in Sharanagati, and they are wonderful children. Vaikuntha, I would say yes. They are talented, beautiful, they're healthy, and I have a son, grandchildren son, 5 years old, that he could read the Bhagavad Gita, translation and purport with no problem like an adult. So, and they are learning very well every instrument. And even at the school, we have 1 hour every day at the school with them. And they learn how to give Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam. They learn to do their Harti, and they learn every part of the devotional service every day. So it's really wonderful to see a little 6-year boy giving Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's really inspiring. So, but my other point, my first point is, your first goal is what? To go back home, back to Godhead. So you have to stick on that. It won't be easy through your spiritual life, but this is your goal. So always bring it back, that goal. Second is karma. You need to burn, and you need to purify your karma. You need to get through that. So if I just decide to, I want to go somewhere else, then no. Krishna will give you that person to go through that karma. Then if you go switch again, I don't know what happened, You just cut down something that you shouldn't, actually. Because you vow, you will be fire sacrifice in the front of Krishna, and you say, yes, I am giving, So in my third one, which I find I am right now in that moment, on that my third one, is that in the hand of your life, if you did everything to raise your children beautifully Krishna consciousness, and you do pray Krishna for that, you really develop these prayers of pray Krishna to help you to stick on your processes the whole way. Krishna will reward you. You will have these children which will want it to stay Krishna consciousness. What is the best way for parents to see your children wanting to be devotee? They don't want to go out. They want it to stay as a devotee. So I feel that the up and down during the Grihastha life are not easy. But if you learn to tolerate for the sake of you going back to Godhead, for the sake of purify your karma to get through all that, then at the end, Krishna will reward you for all this austerity you went through by giving some beautiful children that they stay want to be devotee. And that is the process. But now going to the best part is that as you get older, of course, you wanted to focus on your spiritual life more now because it's time. You finish. They are married and everything is good, Then you wanted to chant and read in a really peaceful way. Sit down and meditate about what you did during your devotional life. And thinking, not saying that I wish I didn't, why I did that, why I did that. Because if you start to meditate that way as you get older, then how could you leave this world peaceful? No, you still you're wondering again why I did this, why I did that. Then you will come back again because you're still not finishing what you did in the first place. So, really make an effort as a Grihastha to really do it through properly in Krishna consciousness. On the hand, you can chant, you can read, and be peaceful when it's time to go because you did everything you best you can do for Krishna consciousness. Then Krishna will be really happy and you spiritual master, and he will help you to go back home back to Godhead because you did the whole things properly. And then you'll be very peaceful to let go of the world because you did everything perfect as you could do. So this is my realization. Thank you very much.